Premier League review and EFL Playoff picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. Get a $25 matching deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by NairaBets. Claim your $200 deposit match bonus today at nairabets.com/SGPN200. Promo code SGPN200. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, March the 12th. We are here to review the Premier League weekend, which finished Sunday night, and we're going to make some picks, possibly. There's not an awful lot to go on, I'm going to be honest. We're going to have a look at some of the EFL playoff second legs, which take place this week. We're probably going to talk a lot of bollocks, so if it's picks and not chat you after, I would turn this off right now. Joining me for a fireside chinwag, I'll tell you how relaxed he's being this evening. He's in the posh end. It's Mr. Barry Penaluna. Baz, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm in the lounge tonight because, well, generally when it gets to 11 o'clock, if we're doing an 11 o'clock show, I can sit wherever I want. Otherwise, I get banished to the kitchen. You seem to just take over the lounge whenever, wherever, whatever time.
Like, whatever comes in here.
I was going to say, what the rest of your family do all night?
Well, everyone stays at their own room. The IT department goes to bed at like 8:10 every night because she hates me, which is perfectly understandable.
Fair
and the
enough.
Kids just, Bob's room's like a crack den, and Betty just does whatever 15-year-old girls do. So I'm just left to be owned. I could go out, Baz. I could probably have a week's holiday. No one would notice. I'm gone. So there you go. Yeah, we'll have a look. We've got some time to let the show breathe this evening. We will go through the Premier League stuff, playoff picks, Tuesday through to Thursday. Once again, Barry's refused to do about 30% of the required work this week, so I'll do the heavy lifting again. And we might even have a look at the far too early European final odds. We've got 3 European finals. I haven't looked at these on purpose, Baz, because I want to be surprised. I want to instinctively go, ooh, that surprises. So we'll do that in about 40 minutes if you're all still alive. Baz, I wondered if, there's a few things. Well, a little bit of chit-chat first. Main thing I wanted to know is how much salt did the kids sell?
They didn't even sell it. They give it away.
Gave away?
Gave away loads of salt. Yeah, they didn't even try and sell it. And I was very disappointed. Because I told her before she went to school in the morning that podcast people are wanting an update.
Yeah.
And nothing but disappointment when she come in and said, "Oh, we just give it away in the end." I was like,
punish her in any way?
Absolute garbage. No. Took her.
It's your fault, isn't it? Really?
Honest, got me wrapped around a little finger at the moment. Because it's her birthday next week, she feels like she can do anything she wants. That was last week. Can you take me to this gig because it's my birthday next week? Saturday, can you take me and 4 friends camping because it's my birthday? And this has just gone on and on and on. So yeah, she's got away with it this week.
Your laissez-faire attitude, Barry. I like it. And the chat from the top down, Connor Mack was in. Connor, welcome along. Celebration time for Connor and all his Southampton buddies. It's been one long party down on the Shoreland. Ian Lights Out is here. John pulling double duty. John was just in the MLB show, which I did in the hour preceding this one. Andy Williams, Andy, welcome. The Bacchus people that are here as well. If you are in the chat, if you want to say hello, by all means, do that. I'm going to tell you first about the D-Gens line of gear is live in the merch store. And to celebrate, we're taking 20% off everything with the promo code DGENS. So get in there and have a look at some of the merch. Joe Dollar's joined us. Joe, welcome. So yeah, a bit of lifestyle, Baz. Just some things that caught my eye over the weekend. And this, we're like reliving an old classic here. It's like we're playing our greatest hits. Early kickoff yesterday, very early kickoff, Newcastle-Chelsea. 12 o'clock. So everyone's trying to get in the pub nice and early, aren't they, Baz? We discussed this on the show, actually, trying to find time to fit 3 or 4 pints in before lunchtime. So I went to the Wetherspoons in the university, up at the Haymarket there. And I'm not going to go over old ground because there was a lot of the stuff happening that I've kicked off about before. If you're a completist to this show, you'll know there was queuing going on, Harry. I'm not a big fan of the queuing, but I think going to the bar is a skill. I think you should learn it. I mean, we could run a course in it. Like, I'm sure people would attend a course or put a course on, to get to the bar quick. But I understand not everyone's confident. So the queue's kind of fair. There was women in the queue. Not a problem. I've got no problem with the women, Barry. Let 1,000 but they only ever buy one drink, and there was women buying fucking cappuccinos and lattes, which isn't helping. My problem is, Baz, a little bit like when you go to McDonald's now, and all the fellas are there to do the deliveries, and everyone seems just to be concentrating on them without doing the thing. It was the people who'd ordered on the app, on the Wetherspoons app. So Wetherspoons is heaving. Everyone's trying to get a couple of pints in before the game. And no one was serving because there was people ordering on the app, but then they were coming to the bar to ask where their drinks were because they hadn't been served quick enough. So what was happening was nothing was fucking getting done. So you got 3 students, disinterested students, who were just pressing this screen. Oh, that's mine. Yeah, the 6 Moretti's. Yeah, that's mine. I ordered that 48 minutes ago and all this. Call the manager over. The only person who's serving on Q1. It just But my point is, I'm not blaming Wetherspoons. I'm not blaming the manager or the disinterested students. It's the people using the app. Go to the fucking bar. There's like unwritten rules, Baz. If you go to the pub pre-match early, I'm not having you sitting outside Wetherspoons and using the app. Go to the bar and get your drinks. It was an absolute shit show. So yeah, any thoughts on that, Barry? I've got that off my chest.
I'm a regular user of the Wetherspoons app, Malcolm. I'll be honest. There we go.
No problem with it, Barry. 99% of the time. But
I probably wouldn't in that situation when it's rammed on a match day.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've used. I'm a regular user of the app. Like,
yeah, that's not. Yeah, it's just we live in it's a community, Barry. We're trying to live in a society here, enough. And that's no way to carry on. Because, like I say, yes, mate. What's wrong with? I ordered these drinks 37 minutes ago. Oh, let's have a look. And they're all pressing the screen. So there's 4 people pressing the screen. No one's doing anything. So the queue's not getting fucking served. And these people aren't getting served. If everyone had just gone to the bar, would have been all right. If you remember, I was playing in the Great Park FC Parents Tournament as a ringer, as Great Uncle Malcolm on Friday night. And this is another greatest hit. This is another classic. If you remember, Barry, my autobiography is going to be called The Reluctant Goalkeeper, due to the literally thousands of appearances I made in goal, and I never want to play in goal. So Dave Horan Stubblegoat asked me to play. I said yes. I was quite excited. Left. I thought I'll just put my goalie gloves in my bag just in case anyone needs them. So we played 5 group games, Barry, in this thing. And Dave says to me, mate, do you mind starting off in goal? I was like, here we go. I was looking forward to having a run around, get on the score sheet, etc. Do you mind starting off in goal, he says. 5 group games, Barry. I played every fucking minute of every group game in goal. I played the entire tournament in goal. Dave Horan never once glanced over his shoulder and thought, that's how I've brought Mallow along. We'll let him have a run around. I stood in goal all night. Lost the first game 1-0. Won the next 4 by an aggregate of 13-1. I was magnificent, but that's not the point. We finished second in the group. Didn't get out the group. It was only the 2 group winners went at the final. So yeah, cheers, Dave, for that. And that's another thing off my chest. I think that's my lifestyle issue sorted, Barry.
I did say last week when he talked about having a run out. Are you not playing in goal this week? So
so you knew?
I must have known. Yeah, I knew. I was camping at the weekend, wasn't I? That was my lifestyle.
Oh yes.
took the kids
Supervising.
camping. So we went Saturday. It was a scorcher, lovely night. And to be fair, I did. You might have seen my Twitter post or X post where I was sat drinking a 0% beer whilst the kids were getting drunk on their Smirnoff Ice and their Wicked Blues and all of that sort of stuff. But to be fair, they were no bother at all. I barely heard anything from them. And yeah, my camping experience. So we've got this big TP tent that we borrowed off some friends. So I just put that tent up. They all bring their own airbed sleeping bags and they just pile in there and they're fine. And then I've got a little 2-man tent on the floor, tiny little thing. One of the girls didn't bring an airbed, so I had to give up my airbed. So therefore, I am now lying on the floor. So I went to bed about midnight. Laid on the floor, not very comfortable morning. And honestly, I was just in pain and it was freezing, like absolutely freezing cold. So 2 o'clock in the morning, I tried to get back to sleep. There was no chance. So I got out my tent with my sleeping bag and my pillow, and I went and lay in the car, reclined the seat back, and I was all right. Got a good 5 hours kip in the car instead.
That's not a bad shout. I slept on the floor camping that last year, and it was me hips, Baz.
Yeah.
For about.
I mean, I haven't got the frame for lying on the floor, Malcolm. Let's be honest. I'm not the right shape for that sort of thing.
I don't know what shape suits lying on the floor like. But yeah, my hips for about 6 weeks were absolute murder. Like, one other little bit of housekeeping I wanted to get to, Barry. Do you remember I talked up the replacement for battleships?
Yeah.
Talked about pre-order. Yes, I know. And I want to explain what's happened, Barry, because what's happened is I lost my nerve, Baz, is what's happened. In my head, I thought it was a really good idea. It still might be, but I started doubting myself. I thought this could be a bit shit. And if it's a bit shit and I've committed to it on the show, this could and not end well. And some people have been asking what's going on. So I'll just explain what the situation was. Do you remember, Barry, when you were a young person, you used to get those choose your own adventure books? So you'd like read a page and at the end say, you're in the forest, you can go left down this path towards the river, or you can turn right and go up the mountain, and you decide what to do. And if you go up the mountain, you go to page 42. So I got one of these, Barry, which is a hunt for the Yeti. It's quite dramatic, 27 different endings. And I thought between us all on the show that we could, every episode, read the page, and then we could have a week, 3 or 4 day long discussion on whether we wanted to go up the hill or down the river. And in my head, it sounds great, but equally, it might have been a bit shit. Do you have any strong thoughts on this?
I'm not sure. There's only one way to find
Neither
out.
am I. Don't know.
And you know, if you're 2 or 3, if you're 2 or 3 episodes in, you just bin it.
Well, I could do. I don't know what to do. Andy's gone with a please God no, so that's not a ringing endorsement, Barry.
To be honest, when we get to the summer, we'll be crying out for something to talk about, so it might work then.
We'll do the entire series. There's about 7 in the series, Baz. If it's good, we can crack on with them all. Harry's joined us in the chat. Chelsea. Can I suggest, Harry, you have a bit of that? He wants Nicholas Jackson on the tit list. I like him, Harry. I'm a big fan. So we'll get to that in a little bit. We will do a Premier League review about picks, etc. Let me tell you first about Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all your gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. Deposit $25, Edge Boost match that. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And the Preakness is just around the corner. There's no better time to get in on the action with Naira Bets. Sign up today using the promo code SGPN200 and score a $200 deposit match bonus. Don't wait. Head to nairabets.com, SGPN200. Claim your $200 deposit match bonus today. That's nyrabets.com/SGPN200. And Underdog, who've just launched the new game Ladders, 500 times your winnings by watching your favourite player climb the ladder. Our bonus code is PLGP. That'll get you a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. Picks wise, I did all right. 4 out of 10. I returned 9.1 units, so a little bit of a loser. At one point, was looking terrible because I blobbed the first 4 games on Saturday. But then we had to fall back with some nice picks. Villa at a big underdog price. Crystal Palace were an absolute giveaway at a huge underdog price as well. Took Newcastle, who we know are quite reliable in these big home spots. And Leicester on the handicap, which was a bloodless win. Bad picks. I think my worst pick was Manchester City on the handicap. Not even close. And my most couple of frustrating picks, Baz. Brentford to win, over 1.5 team total. Like, I basically just took out Brentford 1-0 and it finished Brentford 1-0. And when they scored after 10 minutes or whatever it was, I'm surprised they didn't have another one. And Manchester United and West Ham both teams to score over 2.5. Manchester United did miss a load of fucking easy chances in that one. So a little bit frustrated, but that was that. But Barry, we don't want to bury the headline. You take us through your picks. I'll let you start and finish where you want
to. Yeah, I mean, there was some highlights, that's for sure. I mean, we might as well start with the highlights, hadn't we? We had a winner, didn't we?
Hey,
we had a big old Steak and Stilton winner, Malcolm. So I'm going to start there. The Steak and Stilton has finally landed. I've hit the post on a number of occasions. I've claimed a couple of spurious wins where we got early payouts before getting done. We had the cards one that came in the other week if you had the subs in your ACCA. But this week it was straightforward. It couldn't have been any easier. You could have taken the 3 of them in a handicap and still cashed them. You could have probably cashed that at about 300 to 1 if you took them in the handicaps. But the Steak and Stilton was a very easy, very obvious. When you look at it in hindsight, how were they given 30 to 1 for Newcastle to win at home to Chelsea and then Man United and Spurs to lose like they do every week? Like, how were you given 30 to 1 for that? So, yeah, the Steak and Stilton ACCA this week was Newcastle to beat Chelsea. It was West Ham to beat Man United. It was Palace to beat Spurs. 2-0 all over the place. Everyone's a winner. So, yeah, nice to get one in before the end of the season, Malcolm. The pressure is on you now. You've got a couple of weeks to land a Steak and Stilton. But, yeah, for the benefit of those listening on the podcast, there is an image now of a beautiful-looking Steak and Stilton pie.
I'll be honest. I never heard a word you said because I've just been staring at that pie, Baz. It looks fucking great.
But yeah, I obviously buzzing to hit that one, which was the main thing. As I say, especially going close a few times. So I have milked it on the social media this week. Going back to the other stuff, I had 4 winners. And like you, just a little bit unlucky on a few. It was mainly the teams to win that came from good for me. Villa, Palace, West Ham, I took double chance. Should have just been brave enough to take them to win, like I did in the ACCA. And the Newcastle team total, obviously left it a little bit late on. But then the losers, I was sort of 1 goal away on most things. Like you, Brentford, I had them to score in both halves, so they get the first half, just didn't get the second goal. City win to 0, got the 0 bit. City having plenty of chances, just didn't get the goal. And both teams to score over 2.5 in Wolves and Brighton, so a Wolves goal away there. And the other one that stung a little bit was Liverpool not managing to hold on to a 2-0 win. I think we both took Liverpool, didn't we? The ladder hit the bottom rung. I had Ramsdale saves. And when you see Man City 0-0, you're thinking Ramsdale must have had an absolute blinder here. He got the 5 saves, which is where we started the ladder. So not a loser, but we didn't push all the way up. So yeah, all in all, a fairly average weekend from the main picks, but absolutely trumped by a Steak and Stilton ACCA.
Well done, Barry. I got paid out on Liverpool, which was good. They went 2-0 up, and then I immediately went to sleep because I'd had beer at lunchtime and got back in the house. It was perfect, and I had a little giggle to myself that I'd been paid out when I woke up, and then it was back to 2-2. Eye catchers, Baz. Connor's asking about Manchester City. We'll get to them in a little while. Start with Newcastle. It was the biggest game of the weekend. I'm not just a Homer conversation. Newcastle Chelsea was the biggest game of the weekend. And it was a really weird one. Being in the ground in that second half was just a bit of an odd thing. Newcastle, I thought, were tactically far better in the first half. It was nice to have faith in a manager, in Eddie Howe, that there was going to be a plan. Like going into the game, I knew there was going to be something, and I just fancied him. It was part of the handicap that we factored into it. And then the team news come out, and it was a 3-5 or a 5-3, whichever way you want to dress it up. And it worked absolutely beautifully. And then you get the red card. And then the second half just went a bit peculiar. Like, I'm not really sure what happened, but still. Chelsea, it's just a bit of a weird, disparate bunch, really. There's two really simple things I want to point out here. Chelsea have got some good players, which isn't complicated. They should have some good players to spend 100 million quid on most of them, like Cole Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo. They should be good players. But I thought they were, but they're not much of a team. And the second thing, Baz, and I've got no shame in saying this, Newcastle are getting quite lucky at the minute. And I'm all for it. We've moaned about Liverpool and Man United being lucky for years and years and years. But luck goes with being good. And it's little things that, so we see the Jackson red card. How often in a game against your closest rivals in the league, does their centre forward get sent off after half an hour? We had João Pedro getting sent off the week before for Brighton, so he couldn't play against us. Mikel Merino got sent off yesterday, so he can't play against Newcastle next week. Little things that Meg and Bob were talking about, the timing of the Dan Burn goal in the Wembley final. Because if that goes 0-0 at half time, Liverpool might change it round, might make some changes. And we score in 46 minutes, and the whole world's different as a result. So I don't mind just being lucky. Newcastle have carried quite a lot of luck, and I'm all for it, Baz. So that was my reading of that one. Tottenham, what's Ange talking about? Honestly, I'm out on him now, Baz. I gave him a chance because I thought he had a bit about him, and I thought what would get out of him, especially with him being Australian, is a bit of honesty. But he can't sit there and say yesterday the only reason they get humped every week is because they're playing in another competition. You say, Ange, what have Aston Villa been doing? What have fucking Arsenal been doing? What have Forest been doing? Newcastle, Liverpool? List as long as your arm. Oh, no, they can't possibly. We've lost 20 games because we've had to play in Kazakhstan every 3 weeks. Absolute shite. So I'm out on him. Manchester City were entirely pathetic. Ruben Diaz was entirely pathetic, saying that Southampton weren't prepared to play. You've spent £1.3 billion and broke every rule in the book, and you're playing a team that absolutely everyone else has mangled. No excuses. Absolute dog shit. Be better. The Southampton admin, the social admin, released an absolute beautiful TikTok. I don't know if you've seen it, of Manchester City just doing bad things with a really funny bloke playing the recorder in the background very badly. It's excellent if you get a chance to see that. Everton are rubbish. I'll take this. I'll die on this hill. They were shit again at the weekend. They scored a massive deflection in the 47th minute when they should have been 4-0 down. Somehow win 3-1 because the goalie's thrown 2 in. We're going to make a fortune on Everton next year. I'll put it out there now. We're all, and I include everyone who's listening to this, we are all making a fortune on Everton next year. And Nottingham Forest was my last one, only because it harked back to something a couple of weeks ago. And there was never more of a shut up fatty moment than when Matey went onto the pitch. I think if you're allowed to say shut up fatty to anyone, not to you on a Sunday morning, Baz, doing the girls' football, I think shut up fatty was quite appropriate. So, yeah, they were my Premier League eye catchers. Baz, what have you got?
Yeah, I mean, starting with the Chelsea game, I think you covered most of it. Newcastle really, really good in that first half. And then second half, we were just hanging on, weren't we? It was a little bit of a nervy second half until we eventually got that second goal. I'll tell you what got on my tits. I mean, there was a lot of things. Enzo, Cucurella, Palmer, all get on my tits. How many times, like Chelsea, obviously I was watching it, tell you might not have noticed, like constantly, like shit talking to the opposition, right, hiding their mouth, just fucking stop it. What's that all about? Like all the every time there's a foul and there's an argument, they're all like, and they're obviously fucking saying shit they shouldn't be saying. just fucking pathetic. It's all a little bit childish, this hiding your mouth all the time. Enzo, Palmer, they were all at it. That got on my nerves. How Caicedo got away without a yellow card, having made about 27 fouls, is beyond me. But who gives a fuck? We'll beat them. Massive game. That one. Forest, vulnerable, aren't they? They've lost their way entirely. The Marinakis thing was bonkers. Regardless of, I mean, they've tried to play it down, haven't they? He's released a statement. Regardless of what he was moaning about, it just looks terrible. It's absolutely ridiculous. I did notice on Twitter, someone pointed out the most bizarre thing about it is that multi-millionaire Greek man walking around with an iPhone 8, which was released in 2017, with his plug-in wire headphones. Nobody has plug-in wire headphones with their phone anymore. You can't even get headphones in. Well, that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, Marinakis is walking around with his 8-year-old iPhone.
Back on him, Baz, the plain white T-shirt is a bold choice, isn't it, for a man of that stature? Do you know what I mean? I was having to go with Dave Ryan Stubblecoat on Friday because he had a Sampdoria kit on with like the red hoop. And he's not the shape of a man to be wearing a hoop. He needs a vertical stripe. Do you know what I mean? You've got to take everything you can get. The white T-shirt, the plain white T-shirt, when you're 23, Clem, it's a fucking bold move, like.
I mean, one of the takeaways for me this week was how hard it's getting this end of season. It is getting difficult. Particularly, I mean, you're looking at teams like Leicester and Southampton. Suddenly, we talk about the kingmakers, and they're taking points from Forest and Man City, where weeks ago they couldn't take a point off anybody when it mattered for them. Now it doesn't matter. You know, pressure's off, and they can be the spoilers. And the final thing I messaged you: Man United and Spurs are getting right on my tits. We've talked about them having given up weeks ago. And actually, with Man United, I'm not sure if they have given up or if they just genuinely are this bad. Because let's be honest, they weren't much better before they started zoning in on the Europa League. Spurs, on the other hand, I mean, they didn't bother with a forward this week. They had Son, Solanke, Richarlison and Johnson on the bench. Kulusevski was playing as a false nine or whatever you want to call him. He gets injured 20 minutes in. And they still don't bring on Son, Solanke, Richarlison and Johnson. They brought on that young kid, can't remember, Mickey someone. They dropped the keeper. They dropped the two best centre-halves. They've just absolutely surrendered. Like every week, this is what they're doing. And then he'll make an excuse about, as you say, absolute bollocks. One of these two teams, Man United and Spurs, isn't going to win the Europa League. That's for certain. And the loser is going to find themselves staring at the worst ever Premier League season. And it'll be unforgivable for whichever one it is, because they've pinned so much on this Europa League now. If they don't get it, it's a disaster. And I think it's hard to see. I think either of these managers could get sacked following that Europa League. I mean, certainly I don't think Ange can survive. If Spurs don't win that, there's absolutely no chance he's in charge next season. Amorim might get more of a chance to start next season just because they've invested so much in him. But it's so bad. But it's just getting on my nerves. I mean, we'll talk about briefly. I've got the league table here with the race for the European spot. 69 points is going to be what you need, Malcolm, because Aston Villa sit on 63 points. In their final two games are Spurs and Man United. You couldn't ask for a more perfect run-in than that. I mean, Chelsea have got Man United next up. It's a freebie for anybody. If Aston Villa can't take 6 points, there's something wrong there. So yeah, getting on my tits, those two. But yeah, Go on.
I just don't know what I think about it. I'm obviously widely agitated by the whole thing, but then it's going to be weird cheering on Tottenham. Everyone's going to be cheering on Tottenham. Watching that game is just going to be incredible. Like, I'm quite excited to, in about 10 minutes' time, click on the prices because I haven't looked at that game. I'll see if you can price it up, Baz. We'll set you a little challenge of pricing that up because fucking hell, absolutely anything at all. But it's a horrendous state of affairs. Absolutely horrendous, Barry.
But on a positive note, Malcolm, Newcastle win the last 2 games of the season and we're finished second in the league. So nobody saw that coming. Yep. And we always beat Arsenal anyway, so walk in the park, that.
Connor's just asking that about Alexander Isak, looking a little bit of it. I think he's carrying a knock, Connor. They're going to nurse him through to the end of the year, but he's certainly not firing on all cylinders. He is very easily going to cash the each way portion of the 16-1 to finish as top goal scorer in the league, though, which we gave out at the top of the season.
Any thoughts on Trent, Alexander? Trent, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but Liverpool fans seem to. So I don't really fucking care, but I just don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a similar scenario that would have to happen here, and I just really don't. It's I seem to. The majority of outsiders looking in seem to feel like me and probably you. I don't get it, Baz. I don't. But equally, I'm not going to sit and pattern them. Well, I will sit and pan them. I'll pan them for anything and everything. But not through it. I've got no strong feelings. It just makes me scratch my head.
Yeah, I mean, it was the thing that it doesn't bother me at all, and it was. I didn't think it was a massive surprise, although possibly it was, because I thought most of it was probably social media noise, but clearly it isn't because it was in the ground. I think what it does, though, and it was sort of highlighted by Szoboszlai's reaction at the end, because Trent walks towards the cop end, clapping his hands, and the boos ring out, and Szoboszlai just throws his hands in the air to say, "What's this all about?" Like, and it's just the impression it gives to other players to say, like, it's just not a good look. I just don't think it was necessary. You can be pissed off with them, but just be important. Just fucking do nothing about it. Like, but yeah, I don't really give a fuck either way. But there we go.
Right, okay then. We make some picks. We got some playoff football coming up. Let me tell you first about Rhythm. Your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm. Building your own model is simple and easy. Rhythm knows you love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Rhythm has got some amazing deals right now. 25% off a monthly subscription. The promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with the promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM. Promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get your 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm and mybookie.ag. Place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. Props for every game. Loads of locations are accepted at MyBookie. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. And finally, the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. Great prize here. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. You're giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas. You get a 2-night stay at the Circa Resort for your whole league. Limo transportation, legacy club party, a sportsbook reservation with a $500 beverage credit, 2-hour open bar package. May the 5th to June the 30th is the contest duration. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Right, the first thing we need to point out, as we are in the EFL playoffs, Barry, is that our outright picks are off to a terrible start. Holy shit, are we up against it now? We picked Coventry, who got knocked over by Sunderland. We picked Chesterfield, who lost 2-1 and 2-0. They were home to Walsall, was it? Yeah. And we picked Charlton, who managed a 0-0 draw. It was just a bit of a weird weekend. There was 4 away wins and 2 draws. Not a home team won a game. Sheffield United, I've put that right tonight. Sheffield United were the first team to advance, beat Bristol City 6-0 on aggregate. There was some very odd refereeing decisions as well. But yeah, a terrible, terrible start. We're not dead, but we've certainly left ourselves a lot to do, Baz.
Yeah, the Chesterfield one's a big concern, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't rule out Coventry making a comeback. Chesterfield 2 down and going away from home doesn't look good. Charlton will get through. But yeah, not the best start.
What we can do, though, Barry, is win on these second legs and redress the balance. Fefwef has joined us live. Fefwef, welcome along. Fefwef comes in the baseball chat sometimes. Nice to have Fefwef back. So we're going to start Tuesday night. Are we? Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff on Tuesday. Sunderland taking on Coventry City. Sunderland 6-5 plus 120, 12-5 the draw plus 240, 16-5 plus 320 or Coventry, or the 11-5 plus 220. Actually, I'm talking shite. Yeah, 11-5 Cov. So the first leg was odd because it was a real smash and grab from Sunderland. They scored with their first shot on target after 60 odd minutes. They conceded almost immediately. And then if you see the winning goal, the Coventry defender just plays a blind back pass in the 92nd minute. My end is onto it. Sunderland win 2-1. I didn't see anything in that game, Baz, to make me change our original handicap, which is that just we fancy Coventry a bit more. It was a false final. And at the prices, well, I mean, we're not going to pick Sunderland because we fucking hate him anyway. So there's two reasons. At the prices, I take Cov at 11-5 plus 220. So yeah, it was fairly obvious, Baz, but yeah, I'll take Coventry to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not far off the same for obviously similar reasons. I mean, Sunderland had a massive slice of good fortune later on to get them here with a 1-goal advantage. But there wasn't much between the two sides on the night. And I do think this one's still wide open. Coventry dominated the possession in the last game. They had 75% possession in that game. They had more shots. They had 10 corners to Sunderland's 4, I think. They just didn't carve out enough big chances from all the possession that they had. Sunderland didn't either, but they were obviously gifted one at the death, which helps. I thought Coventry showed enough for me to suggest they can get back into this. And if you think I'm back in Sunderland, you'd be sorely mistaken. Coventry team total for me, Malcolm. Coventry to score 2 or more at 2-1 will be my pick.
Fefwef's gone for over 1.5 goals and over 1 card for Coventry. Little same game parlay. Into League One, games here are Wednesday and Thursday. First up, Stockport against Leyton Orient. First game finished 2-2. Stockport a 9-10 here in 90 minutes, minus 111. 13-5 the draw, plus 260. 14-5 Orient, plus 280, Barry.
Yeah, I mean, we were right in our preview of this one in that we thought this one was a really, really hard one to call. Two form sides, two sides coming in really good form. 2-2 in the first leg leaves this one right in the balance. But the standout stats for me was the attacking threat from both teams. 2-2 the final score. XG was 2.5 to 2. 11 shots each, 4 big chances created each. The fixture early in the season as well finished with Stockport at home, finished 4-1 to Leyton Orient. 2-2 in the leg that's just gone. All to play for still. I think plenty of goals will be on the menu again. And you're getting the over 2.5 at even money. So I'm going to take over 2.5 goals here at evens.
Sorry, I was trying to hotkey and type at the same time. Oh, shit, what's going on now? There's a video. Come on. Oh, right, here we go. Mustn't attempt to do two things at once, Barry, is what we've learned. And he says it's going to be a Charlton v Stockport final. So I thought the 2-2 was a bit of a false final there. The Orient scored a goal that was fucking miles offside, but the Lido didn't see the eyebrows from the centre forward. They got in front with that miles offside goal. And then Stockport kind of dominated the middle 2/3 of the game, got 2-1 up. Orient equalised late doors. But Stockport only won one of their 5 home games against the top 6, the teams that finished automatically and in the playoff positions. 1 of 5, it's home against Stockport. And you mentioned the 4-1 defeat against Orient. Orient also won at Wrexham, who finished second, which is a good form line. That was one of 12 away wins that Orient had. last season. I'm going to take Orient here, 14-5 plus 280. Or if you want Orient to qualify, it's 13-8 plus 162. Thursday night, 8 o'clock, Charlton Athletic and Wycombe Wanderers, 0-0 draw. One of the worst games of football that's ever been played. This first leg was at Adams Park. Second leg in 90 minutes, Charlton are 5-4 plus 125. 9-4 the draw plus 225. 9-4 Wycombe plus 225. This is one that we just stayed with our pick, Baz. We like, I assume you've done the same, like Charlton, pre-mini tournament, pre-playoffs for them to go up. So at 5-4 here, they finish the season stronger. They beat Wycombe home and away. They've got home advantage. So I'll just take Charlton. It's a straightforward pick, 5-4 plus 125.
Yeah, I think it looks a really good price. Same pick. I just kept it simple. It was impossible to split them both in the first leg. Both underwhelming. Similar stats for XG, shots, corners, etc. So you just look past that. What was the thoughts coming into it? We thought Charlton were the better side, in the better form. Charlton won 4 of the last 5 coming into it. Wycombe had lost 3 in a row. And here we are, Charlton at home in a tie where we think they're going to come out on top. 5-4 looks a nice price. So I'll have Charlton to beat Wycombe as well at 5-4.
So now, Barry, we've come to a situation where for the third time in 4 weeks, you've refused to do all the required work.
I didn't
You're
refuse.
It's like
There was
Thatcher's
no
Britain.
refusal.
You're on a 3-day week. It's like the miners' strike. So you haven't done League Two, have you, Baz?
No? Do we know why? Are you going to explain why I haven't done League Two?
I'm not going to explain why, no. Do you want to explain why?
Yeah. So your message said we'll do picks on the playoffs for Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. When are the League Two playoffs?
Friday.
Yeah. You never mentioned Friday. You said Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We're doing the playoffs. We're doing the playoffs.
Well, just say that then. Don't put the days on if you're going to miss
all the days at the time, did I? Why is it on Friday? Plus, we're doing the Premier League show on Thursday, so we're not going to be doing the League Two picks, are we?
No, but we're only doing the League Two picks, not the playoff picks now, because we've got nothing else to pick.
It's true. Remarkably, nearly everyone who started the show is still here, which is impressive. We'll send you some cash in the post. Right. So Barry's not made any picks for these. Friday, 8 o'clock, Walsall, Chesterfield. Walsall won 2-0 somehow. They absolutely shithoused a 2-0 win in the first leg. 15-13 Walsall plus 115. 12-5 the draw plus 240. Chesterfield at 23-10 plus 230. And again, I'll stick with me pre-playoff pick here. Walsall did shithouse that win. They were absolutely in terrible form. They'll be nervous in this situation here. Chesterfield need to come out. I actually prefer Chesterfield to win the game than Chesterfield to win the tie, because Chesterfield could just win it by 1 goal, but I do think they'll go and beat them. Walsall might manage to shithouse a 1-goal defeat. So Chesterfield is 23-10. It's a really good price as it happens, just on pure form more than anything else. But the game script sets up for Chesterfield at plus 230. Baz, any comments?
Nope.
And this final game is on Saturday lunchtime, 12:30, 7:30 Eastern Time. Wimbledon, Notts County. Wimbledon with a 1-0 lead. 5-4 Wimbledon, plus 125. 11-5 the draw, plus 220. And 9-4 Notts County, plus 225. The angle here is goals, Baz. Not many of them. It was 1-0 in the first leg to Wimbledon. Both finished the season poorly. Loads of unders, but the under is short. It's 4-6, minus 150. So I'm going to punt both teams to score no at 5-6, minus 120. This is going to be cagey. Notts County striker Jatta will be suspended. He got sent off in injury time. And BTTS no hitting 5 out of the last 6 games for Wimbledon as well. So loads of pointers to this being a really horrible, scrappy game. And I'll take the BTTS no. Right, finally, Barry, we're just going to have a little instinct here, Baz. Too early look at the 3 European Cup finals. You haven't looked at these odds at all, have you, Baz?
No.
Right, okay. Let's see. We'll get you to price them up, and we'll see if these early prices lead us to a pick that we fancy. PSG v Inter Milan, Barry. 90-minute betting. What you thinking?
I'm going to have PSG down as favourites, around about even money. 9-4 Inter. Whatever price the draw, 3-1.
We've got PSG at 6-5 favourites, Baz, plus 120. 9-4 Inter. Absolutely spot on. And 23-10 the draw. I talked about this with Tiger in the band. Tiger's a bit of an Italian aficionado. I'm just drawn to Inter Milan here. I heard some bloke, I can't remember, it might be in Talksport or something last week, explaining that Inter Milan don't have to be the better team. Inter Milan have to have 15 good minutes to win a football match. And that's what they've done to Barcelona a couple of times to keep themselves in the game. And that fits really nicely with what Milan do. And they did show, they scored 6 goals about 2 legs, by the way. I know Barcelona, the form line was a bit mad. There was the 4-3 yesterday against Real Madrid. The game that Joe Dollar, I will say something nice to you, Joe, even though he's in the comments, really trying to pillory Newcastle United. We're just ignoring that, Joe. Joe took over 6.5 in Barcelona Madrid yesterday in that 4-3. So that was a nice bet. But I just think Milan can play well for 15 minutes and then mangle PSG. So, yeah, Milan would be my early thought, Baz. In that one, you?
Hard to pick. I mean, we'll obviously cover it nearer the time, but I'm looking forward to it and hoping it's as dramatic as the Inter Milan semi-final games were. And you could see it panning out in a similar way, really. That, you know, PSG will be all-out attack or throwing everything at Inter Milan, but Inter have got every chance to catch them on the break. So, yeah, the prices, Inter Milan would appeal 9-4, like.
Okay, next. Now I feel like a kid opening a Christmas present because I'm going to click on this little banner that says UEFA Europa League, and I've got no idea what to expect here. This absolute shit show. Baz, Man United v Tottenham, 90-minute betting, go.
Oh, Christ. I think Man United will be slight favourites, I assume. I'd have 6-4 Man United, 2-1 Spurs.
You are not very far away at all, Barry. 7-5 Man United plus 140, so you're a tenth of a point out. 9-5 Tottenham plus 180, with the draw at 12-5 plus 240. Do you want to talk about it? That doesn't surprise either of us. I think Man United would have to be slight favourites, maybe just on pedigree more than anything else. The fact they've won trophies, haven't they? Last year, the year before, etc.
Yeah, and I mean they've faced a fair amount of adversity in this tournament and overcome it. Still not lost a game in this tournament, and there's a few things where you just think the name's written on it, and you see the way the Lyon game pans out and stuff. It's one of them things. Over the years, you just sort of felt inevitability about some stuff that goes on at Man United, and there's a little bit of that here. Though I will obviously be hoping that Spurs do it.
Well, this is the thing. When we come to handicap this properly on the week of the game, there won't be anything sensible going on. We're both just taking Tottenham. Everyone's taking Tottenham. We might put a bet builder out and factor in a Man United goal or something. But yeah, we're all Tottenham that week. Absolutely. Finally, we'll do this for Harry because no one gives a shit about the Conference League final. Real Betis and Chelsea. Baz, good luck price on this, so I would have a clue.
Well, I'm just quickly Googling the Spanish league table, not the odds, to see where Betis are and how they're going.
He scores every week for them, doesn't he?
Betis on in decent form, 6th in the league, still with a sniff of a Champions League spot and in decent form. I think Chelsea are going to be favourites, aren't they? I'll put Chelsea at evens, 7-4 Betis.
Right, say again. I stopped listening. I was reading the stuff. What?
I'm going to guess Chelsea at even money favourites and Betis around 7-4.
So Chelsea are odds on around about 13 to 15, about -115. And Betis is 7-2 plus 350. And again, initial instinct, Baz, is Betis. I mean, this fucking Chelsea are just a disparate team of mercenaries. Like 2 players. So they won a European Cup semi-final on Wednesday, whatever day it was. 2 players who featured at the weekend against Newcastle played in that semi-final. 2? Oh, I don't get it. Like, we could spend the next 2 hours trying to name that Chelsea team, and I don't think we'd get more than 5 or 6 of them. Like, absolutely ridiculous. But just a team absolutely capable of losing a football match like Chelsea. I think you'd take the Oppo at 7-2 every time. Like, so that would buy initial feeling. Do you want to pile into Chelsea at odds on, Baz?
No, not at all. Not in any game.
There you go. Right, I think we can let everyone go now, Barry. We've dragged this shite out to 52 minutes. Have you got anything you want to tell the people?
No.
Short and sweet from
I
Barry.
mean, I had to think about it, but then I've decided no is the answer.
So you were considering saying something, and then you've decided against it.
No, I didn't even have something. I was considering whether I did have something to say, but I didn't have something specific that I was thinking, should I say it or not? Do you know what I mean?
This is gripping stuff, Barry. Absolutely award-winning stuff.
I haven't thought about it. I don't think I've got anything to say. If I have anything to say, Malcolm, I'll say it on Thursday now.
Write it down, Baz. If you've got anything to say, write it down. And yeah, say it on Thursday. So if anyone wants to hear if Barry's thought of anything to say, by all means, come back on Thursday for the Premier League picks show. We apologise for the previous 53 minutes, but thanks for joining us and sticking with us. We appreciate it. I think that's it. Do I have to? Well, hang on, Baz. What buttons do I have to press? Can you do it?
Yeah, you say your bits.
You're going to do it.
You say. I'll see you down the road.
And you press the buttons. Beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Good luck with your bets this week, and we'll see you down the road. Cheers.